I really don't think that's necessary.
It's like barbed wire, the way it's fucking spiked.
You're going to be behind barbed wire if you keep doing that.
Put me in my coffin and just wrap it in barbed wire. Honestly, if I was to die, I have one request.
Yeah.
Bury me, and then approximately 5 years later, unbury me and just see how much of me is gone. Just want to know like what's left, if it's just like the old skelly, or if I have like part of my hair in there or something.
You know,
Because hair lasts a long time usually.
you know what's crazy to me is like, for as long as I can, as long as things that are alive have existed up until, humans. When things died, they just would die and they would like decompose back into the earth. But then like humans, when we die, they stuff us full of chemicals and they put us in a box underground.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't they just like throw us in a big bin somewhere, Or just right instead of like a casket, just put us in the ground normally.
Yeah.
I'm fine with burying people, but like just put us in the ground normally so that the worms eat us and we assimilate back into the earth.
Well, that's normally what happens is like you go in there, eventually you'll see caskets that are like broken open almost. And then like buds have gotten in there, or they just sit there so long that the casket's still mint and it's just like a fucking nasty corpse.
Well, because like that's just gonna happen anyway.
Yeah.
So why even bother? Especially, what I especially don't understand is why caskets cost so much fucking money.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't want to be buried in general. I want to be like shot into space, basically. Get out of the box, dude. But I give my future family, whoever's there to bury me, permission to put me in a cheap wooden box, okay? I don't need it to be like a Cadillac in there, all right? It doesn't need to be nice. I'm dead. I really do not care what it's like in there.
You don't want like heated seats or AC or anything?
Maybe AC would be nice.
With your own control knob, because if you don't have it, you'll be pissed.
Yeah, my dead necrotic hands will lift and turn up the AC.
Man, it's fucking hot down here.
I'd be like a refrigerator in there.
You'd be preserved forever.
I'd be like this. Oh shit.
Yo, hit the sunroof.
And there's dirt comes in. All this dirt comes in.
Fucking dirt collapses, the headstone falls in on your face. Like, God damn.
Shit. My mistake.
God damn. Alright. Ready when you are.
Hello and welcome to the 99th installment of the Synapse Misfire Podcast. I'm your host, Chris, joined by our co-host, Jordan.
I'm winding up, baby.
Jordan,
yeah.
99 episodes.
We're almost there, baby.
Where would a listener potentially want to find or be able to find all 99 of our episodes?
So, if you would like to listen, which you should, we're almost at 100. Come on, do it for us. Do it for Dale. Come on. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Breaker, Radio Public, Spotify, Pocket Cast, and of course the RSS feed. Put it into whatever app you want. And you can email us via email, synapsemisfire@pm.me, your comments, questions, concerns, and death threats. Also the YouTube comments section, and Instagram and TikTok. Almost at 100, baby. We have a special plan. Be ready.
100.
Be there or be square.
It's not going to be too special, but it will be at least mildly special compared to a regular episode.
It's not going to be your bog standard Synapse Misfire.
Exactly. Because we would do something extra special, but we kind of blew our load on that camping trip, so.
Like $1,000 on that camping trip.
Just the cabin that we... And I feel like it's very egregious to call it camping at this point. But the cabin that we rented, we spent like $700 on, so.
Yeah. We're mostly just calling it a camping trip because we don't want to say exactly what our plans are, because that's the whole surprise, so. We'll just call it a camping trip.
It's a nature trip.
Nature trip. A couple of boys in the woods, baby.
Few of them.
A couple of fellas. A couple of them there.
Couple of woods. Couple of trees.
There's some trees. There are a couple trees around us.
There's a few. There's a few, maybe a white oak, perhaps.
Maybe. Maybe.
I don't know. I just thought of the first tree that came to mind, so I don't know if those are actually around.
No idea. But yeah. So we're gonna do something a little bit special, just like a happy time, good time.
What I do know,
Swell time.
What I do know, is that chestnut trees, there used to be a lot of them, billions of them, and then the chestnut blight came, and 4 billion trees died,
Damn.
and no one talks about it. You know,
What the hell is the chestnut blight?
it's a blight that affects chestnut trees, and kills them.
Oh.
So the chestnut blight came, and killed all the chestnut trees.
Damn.
You know, I want justice for chestnut trees. I feel like the blight should pay.
Can we just Left for Dead defib the trees?
I think they're too dead for that.
Damn.
That
They're
being
also
said,
dead.
I suppose there is justice for the chestnut tree, because the new strains of chestnut trees that they have bred are resistant to the blight. So, you know,
We made super chestnut trees.
we made super trees, dude.
Hell yeah. Hell to the fucking yeah, baby. Yeah, it's at Horizon Forbidden West. There's a blight that's killing all the land.
It's the chestnut blight evolved to kill the blight-free trees, and then they made new ones, and it kept evolving to so that the point where there's blight is so powerful it kills everything.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. But yeah. So camper trip. We have a lot of stuff coming up.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff, and we have some fucking behemoth of plans for this camping vlog travel thingy. And I just hope no natural disasters stop us this time.
Yeah, that would kind of suck again. Yeah, we have the studio thing too, just because Jordan and I have been busy boys.
Yeah.
So we haven't gotten to really work on that. So
Yeah, we just have a room behind us full of supplies and nothing done.
yeah,
So, well, the floor is ripped up, so something's done.
something has been done.
Yeah. But that's about it. So,
So we'll get there. You know.
we'll get there. Hopefully sooner rather than later, because when Chris goes back to school, then we are not touching that set for a while.
Yeah.
So,
We got a couple of more months, so we'll get to it.
why don't we just put that fucking balding baby man to work?
You know, I would say that's a good idea, but I don't think it is.
Why not? Because he doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah, we want someone, we want the wall to stay up.
We walk in, we're like, Alex, that's a nice looking wall. How is that in place? You just poke it and it fucking collapses.
It's the sheet of drywall, and it's stood up, and then he just put one screw into the top and one screw into the bottom.
He put L brackets into the ceiling.
And it's just drywall, so you're like, oh, nice wall, and you're like, dong dong, and it goes.
Then you go in for the floor and it's just flooded. You're like, what the fuck you doing? He's
Look
like,
at the floor. It's just cement. There's footprints in it. He's just been walking through it, and he's just trying to. He walks. He goes, shit. Patches up a footprint. He walks again. He patches up another footprint.
oh fuck. Then he throws the tiles down on top of me, just throwing them like saucers.
And they just keep shattering. It's just shards of tile. Just shards of tile being put into this floor. They're all sticking up. It's jagged.
It literally looks like if you fell on it, you'd be just impaled from every
You fell on it,
angle.
you would die instantly.
That's probably what would happen.
So.
Plus, we're gonna build. We're gonna build our bench, our little Smith bench, where we're gonna be making the podcast from.
The bench boys.
A couple of bench boys doing bench boy things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we do have that. That's gonna be the big one. That's one I definitely want to get done though. The studio.
Yeah, I think that's an important thing, but I think we can get it done at some point.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think so. I do bless. I think so.
Cool.
So, Chris, what have you been up to?
Man, I've been doing things and stuff and stuff and things. Firstly, I want to talk about, because seeing these lights again reminded me. These lights, they are borrowed from our workplace.
Yeah.
But I want to get a set of my own, so we don't have to do that. And one of our coworkers texted our boss that the lights were on sale again, And our boss texted me about it. So they were on sale on Amazon, and when our boss texted me, I was asleep. It was like 20 minutes after I went to the bed. Like 20 minutes. And I wake up and I see this text and I go, oh! And I rush to my computer. I open up Amazon, and I didn't see that there was a time limit on the sale. It was like a 1-day flash sale, and they were no longer on sale. And my morning was ruined. I even texted him that. I said, I saw this This came in right after I went to bed. I looked at it this morning. Didn't see the time limit. Morning is ruined.
Yeah.
So.
Fucking
assholes. That happened. That happened to me. So. We'll get these lights eventually. Okay, we'll get our own set of lights.
Yeah.
One way or another.
And then I won't have to set them up every time with Chris, so then we can position them properly. Because I'm looking at the one on the right over there. It's like looking into the sky. It's a spotlight for Batman.
It's fine, dude. What we'll do is we'll have them set up in position, and then we'll just have to plug them in each time because the cat's probably going to eat the wire.
Yeah.
So.
Or we leave him plugged in and then let him eat him, and then we come back and we're like, well, it's really dark in here. Oh, the breaker tripped. I wonder why. And then he's just like fucking in place, burnt to a crisp.
Oh, look, it's a cat. And you're stuck.
Oh, we had that bit at work about getting fucking frozen on the line. Oh my god. Yeah. I don't know why. This is what happens sometimes at work, but Alex and Chris and I spent like at least 3 minutes just coming up with this ridiculous hypothetical scenario where like someone starts by getting stuck on the outlet, and then it just cascades where I'm like, hey, Chris, what's going on, man?
And there's a whole line of people.
And there's just a whole line of people, like, out the door. Oh, man.
Because, for those uninitiated, with electricity, there's a certain point where if you grab something, your muscles contract and you can't let go. And then if it's high enough voltage and current, if another person tries to grab you and pull you away, they'll get stuck too. It's been known to happen. Not to that absurd degree, but
right. That's
still.
why they tell you to like tackle someone off the line or kick them.
Or turn off the power if you can.
Yeah, if you can, obviously. No, I'm just going to be like, what could I do here? I'm going to hypothetically think as Chris is like,
well, I could turn off the power, but I have to run to the breaker panel, so like, maybe not. Maybe let's not do it. But I could kick him, but I could hurt him if I did that. So
I could tackle him, but I might just stick to him like a fly on a fucking fly trap.
So, what I think should happen is like if that ever happens to me, what I want you to do is take like a comedic like a katana, and just slice my hand off, so that my hand is left stuck on the thing, and I just go, oh shit, that kind of hurted. We shut off the power. I take my hand and I put it back on with the Resident Evil serum. I dump it on my hand, it reattaches, and I'm good to go.
You realize it's backwards, and you're like, Jordan, I need you to cut it again.
Jordan, you need to cut this thing again. I put it on backwards.
That's fucking funny. Hey, speaking of Resident Evil, that reminded me. I meant to say this last episode, but we were running like weird on time. You mentioned Village. Did you see what was announced?
What? Village VR. We talked about that last time.
Village VR, but there was much more to that announcement. So Village VR, third-person mode, so you can play it in third person like the old Resident Evil games, and DLC, baby.
Damn, bro.
DLC for July or something like that. I forget when it is, but DLC.
Damn,
Get to play as Ethan's daughter.
Huh.
Rose.
That will actually be kind of interesting.
So, yeah, let's sit. So we're going to have to play that. I'm going to force Chris to play it, and we're going to do another spoiler cast probably.
I'll play it.
Yeah. So, it's called something Winters, because that's their last name. It's like the Winters or something. But it's actually the update. The update is called The Winters, but the storyline's called something with Rose. Shadows of Rose. It's harder than the base game.
Bro Resident.
I did. But yeah, so we're gonna have to basically play that. So yeah.
Huh.
It looks pretty cool, to be honest. From what I saw.
The big guy.
Yo, it's the big dude.
What is his name? The Duke?
The Duke, yeah.
I want him back.
I want a game where I just play as him and just sit there and sell stuff.
I think that would be a neat game where you're just this big fella, and what happens is depending on where the main character goes, because you're not the main character. You just play as him. Wherever the main character goes, you just get teleported there.
Yeah.
And and you have to sell him things.
Yeah, so the DLC's in third person as well. So it's gonna be pretty cool. I'm excited. I liked Village a lot. Resident Evil 7 I liked a lot, but I just didn't play it. I watched someone play it.
Yeah.
But Village was just like fucking incredible.
I thought Village was pretty neat. I thought it was a nice game.
And the story was like so intriguing too, to be honest. Like it was really good. I really liked Village.
What I liked most about it is it stayed in its own lane. It knew what it was, okay? It didn't needlessly provide 40 hours of filler.
No.
It provided like a 10 to 15 hour experience and you were done.
Yeah. Yep. It's crazy how like I feel more justified paying for something like that. I'm like, oh, it's 15 hours. I paid $60 than like some $70 like Assassin's Creed game.
Well, yeah. Well, the thing with the Assassin's Creed game is it's like, oh, this is the same as the last one, and most of this game's content is filler.
Right. Do you actually see they're adding a mode, a roguelike mode?
Are they?
Yeah, to Valhalla. So I am impressed with one thing. They announced all their year 2 stuff, for the most part, and it's all free. So I was surprised about that.
I am surprised about that as well.
But yeah, they announced like a roguelike mode. I'm not gonna lie, like I was into not Village. I was into Valhalla, the main stuff, but like I couldn't get into Dawn of Ragnarok. Just couldn't do it. So I haven't even played it.
Yeah, the thing with the newer Assassin's Creed releases, it's like they want to do a fantasy game so bad.
But they just want to keep that name.
Yeah. So they like have to kind of edge between fantasy and realism.
Yeah, it said, what if we just make Eivor drunk and this all happens in his head? There you go. There's your Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, exactly. So, with like, I mean, Far Cry kind of does that too. So.
Right.
But, Far Cry doesn't have that where it's like it wants to be a fantasy game. It's like, I wouldn't say it's exactly grounded in reality, but it's, it's a wacky experience regardless.
But I will say with Far Cry, I feel like it's a little more unique in the sense that, like, they do change it up a little bit, but also the gameplay of Far Cry is so different to, like, a lot of other things you'd play. Like, you don't see a lot of first-person open-world games, honestly. Like, you really don't. You get a lot of third-person ones like Valhalla, but...
Yeah, I guess you're right.
So at least you have that going for you. Like, it's a fun first-person shoot-'em-up experience.
Yeah, you have that. You have... I guess Skyrim, the Fallout games count.
Right. I always liked in those games you could do both. That's one thing I've always liked about Bethesda RPGs.
You can do both. Cyberpunk, I guess.
I was gonna say Cyberpunk, but I was like, I don't even want to think about that fucking game.
The more I stew and think about that game, is like the less I conceptually like it.
Yeah, same.
Because as much as I will like say, the story they had was, it was all right, and like the gameplay they had, it was all right. It's, it could have been better.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will always maintain that intro bit with Jackie where you become boys and do all those jobs together should have been the game.
Yeah. And then everything else should have been like a DLC or just never happened.
Yeah. Yeah, like the whole plot with Jackie, you get introduced to this character and like you're like, "Oh man, I like this guy." And then he just dies immediately.
And then you get Ubisoft team.
And then you get stuck with like, this, Keanu Reeves' character, which like is fine, I guess, but it's, it's not. He's not a very likable character.
Yeah, I was gonna say one thing I realized is how little I like Keanu Reeves. Like I don't have any sort of attachment to him like some people do. Like some people just know him from The Matrix and like he's fucking amazing, and I'm just like, yeah, okay, I've seen better actors.
He's just an actor, but the thing is like, his character, Johnny Silverhand in the game, is an unlikable character.
Yeah, kind of a dick.
He's like, I never found myself, like, particularly attached to this character. And then you're stuck with him for the whole game.
Yeah. He basically takes Jackie's spot.
which sucks.
Yeah.
So.
No, it definitely does suck. Yeah, that game was just. It's like you said. I just find myself, the more I think about it, the less likely I am to play it.
Well, yeah, and even when I tried to replay it, I started thinking more about, like, man, what is to come with this game? Oh, I have to do all that stuff and answer the phone 28 times in 10 minutes. So, you know what? Maybe I'm not going to play this.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely... It's just such a fucking mixed bag. It's so weird. It's a weird feeling. Remember how excited we were for that? I still remember that the day that game came out was when I got the fucking job offer for the job I have now. It's how time flies.
Damn, man.
Could you imagine if Could you imagine if I lost the job offer because I was playing Cyberpunk at the time? And of all the games to lose, like, a job offer over, if it was Cyberpunk...
You would sit back down in your chair and just blow up. Just detonate.
Yeah, I probably would. Speaking of detonating, by the way, the Giraffe Man came into work yesterday.
Rare Giraffe Man sighting.
He was on an international voyage. He was traveling.
Yes.
And he came back in. And I'm honestly a little worried. I was a little scared. He didn't say a word. Now, I don't mean this to be like, the Giraffe Man ignored me. I'm mad at him, because I know he listens to this sometimes, so that's not what I'm saying. He was deathly exhausted. To the point where, like, he's the kind of guy that shows up, and you're like, oh, hey, what's going on, man? And then you're like, oh, it's been 40 minutes, and we're talking about golf and shooting, or the Miata, or cars, or, like, that's what happens. But, like, he came in, I said hi, and he just went, what's up, man? And then we said, like, 2 or 3 words, strictly work-related, which was incredibly weird. Imagine that.
Bro just needed a good night's sleep.
Imagine the Giraffe Man having a work-related only conversation. It was incredible. It was the weirdest feeling. And then he pieced out, he did his thing, and then he left. But he looked sickly. He was so tired and, like, jet-lagged, he looked sickly.
Oh, I did not have a Giraffe Man sighting.
But that goes to show. Normally you would have...
And he always pops by. He always is like, hey, what's up, man?
Yeah.
And the only interaction we had with him the whole day was he sent Alex a message once.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, can you do this for me? Like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. That's, it was an interesting sighting. It was like I watched the giraffe, but its neck and legs were all broken. And it was just sedentary. So what the fuck's going on with that guy?
It's like if you discovered, like, you had a Bigfoot sighting, but Bigfoot, had, like, you know, he had, like, COVID. Bigfoot had COVID. He was like, oh, man, I really don't feel good.
And then he shits his pants. He's like,
oh, man. He's, like, stumbling around. He's like, man, I gotta go to bed.
You know, you meet Bigfoot and he's sleeping. You're like, oh, my God, it's him. Hey, buddy, wake up. And he's like, I don't feel so good.
He coughs in your face and you get super COVID.
Yeah.
It deletes your vaccines. Regardless of whether you're vaccinated or you have immunity because you had COVID, it removes that from your body.
And then it pulls out a 12 gauge and blows a hole in your chest.
It's so powerful. It's such a powerful strain of Bigfoot COVID.
But, yeah, no, he was, like, deathly.
Damn.
So I imagine that he went home and blew up. He did say, I messaged him, I said something about him walking in a group chat, and I sent, like, a gravestone symbol or whatever. And then I sent another message, and he was like, he responded. I was like, oh, did you sleep? And he was like, yeah, I slept for 30 minutes and then went back to it. I was like, Jesus.
Damn, bro, just take a nap, man.
Like, oh yeah, he's gonna be dead. Gonna be fucking. He was all over. I think it was South America that he went, a couple places. So he was a traveling boy.
Yeah, you know. Speaking of creatures and cryptids.
Oh yeah, Alex.
No. I went on a shopping trip yesterday because I had to get stuff for my barbecue excursion today. So I went to several stores. Okay. I hit the good old Stop and Shop where I get every piece of my food.
Yeah.
I hit Walmart.
It's 2.
I hit Target.
Target, hell yeah.
And that was it. But
3 stores.
Stop and Shop, I get there, and there's like some domestic dispute happening in the parking lot. There's like people yelling at each other. I don't know what's going on. So I just walk past whatever's happening and go to the store, do what I gotta do. There was a trick I wanted to try with my ribs, because I'm making ribs, that I saw on the internet where you can put pork fat in the smoker and let the pork fat smoke too, and then put that with the ribs when you wrap them up. And then
So it
that'll
kinda
stew in
soaks
the
it.
pork fat,
Yeah.
in the smoked pork fat, and apparently it's really good. I was trying to find pork fat and I couldn't find it, so like shit. So that's what I was looking for. So I went to Walmart, and typical Walmart, you deal with like absolute creatures at Walmart. So I was like, fine with you dealing with any particular creatures or ne'er-do-wells or cryptids or ghouls or goblins that I may find. So I was looking, and I found the aisle with all the cooking oil and shit. I see there's a jar. It says, what does it say? It says pork lard. Like, this is what I'm looking for. Hell yeah, brother. I grab it, and I look at the top, and there's dust on the top. I go, oh shit. And I'm like, alright, whatever. And I start walking away, and then I look at it again, and there's a sticker on it that says, Best Buy, 3/22/22. Like, well, fuck, it's 3 months out of date. Let's see if there's another one. And I'm looking, and I'm like sifting through this shelf. The only other ones that are there were from June and September of 2021. So I'm like, bruh. So I'm like just sifting through, trying to find anything else that maybe is actually in date, and it's not. And then I hear someone approaching behind me. I got this.
That's a scary feeling in Walmart.
This sinister presence behind me. It wasn't a sinister presence. It was one of my former coworkers. Who I worked with at my last job, and she had I don't want to use the words left, because she was fired in a way, not for anything bad, but she was laid off, I suppose you could say, right before I had left. So we caught up, and I talked about how I hadn't, I had gotten a new job and whatever, and I got my new car and stuff. So that was fine. That was a fine experience. Okay. Then I was like, this is my last shot. If it's not here, I'm not gonna buy it, or I'm not gonna look for it anymore. So I go to Target. My last hope.
Yeah, last ray of light, just grasping for it. Like, please.
So
take me.
I'll explain what happened in the store first, just because it's not particularly interesting. There was a gang of British folk there, which was
Really?
fucking absurd to me.
A gaggle of Brits.
Because we don't live anywhere desirable where people would want to travel to, so they must have friends here or something, which is just perplexing to me to hear an English accent. So I was like, oh, that's fucking weird. So that's the only thing eventful that happened in the store. But I was getting in the store, and Target, they have the big Target balls outside, the big red balls. So I'm walking up to this Target, and there's this guy, disabled guy, trying to get out of his car. And he's clearly disabled, and he's got some kind of deficiency mentally. And I'm like, all right. I only take note of it just because of how much of a struggle he's having. I'm like, man, I'm glad I'm not that guy. And he's just trying to get out of his car, and he gets out of his car, and he like stands up, and he goes, and he looks at me, and he goes, "Hey," oh boy, this is about to be a thing. And I look, and I go, yeah, I look, and he goes, "Hey, did you know that they're gonna be painting these Target balls blue soon?" And I point at the sign, and I go, "Huh?" I point at the sign, and I go, "That doesn't match the red sign." And he goes, "No, it doesn't, but I get blue balls all the time." No, I'm just kidding. I was cackling. That shit was so funny. I was like, shout out to that guy, bro. He's living his best life, despite being wheelchair bound. I was cackling. That was so fucking funny.
Wow, man, that's...
That was like... the first real NPC interaction I've had in a very long time. It's just like he just like I could hear what's the song called, Harvest Dawn from Oblivion in my head while he was saying that. I just like I didn't know what to do. I just threw my head back and laughed at him. I was like, that's fucking funny. So shout out to that guy.
You should have the same intonation. He's like, "Hey, traveler."
Yeah,
That's
but
funny
like
as
that,
shit.
but more slurred. So.
That's funny as hell.
And then I went to Five Guys, and there was some sort of incident happening in the
Some
kitchen.
debauchery.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on. There was people yelling at each other, not like angry yelling. They were just yelling. I'm like, I don't know what's going on here, and I don't want to be involved in any of it. Just give me my food. I'm trying to get out of here, man. So I'm finally done. I finally got my food. I finally get home.
Did you find the log at Target?
I didn't. No. I didn't even find what I needed, so I'm not going to be trying that this time. If I can find what I'm looking for, if I can find pork lard, I will try that. But
yeah, it's probably better anyway if it's your first time truly smoking. You know, do the basic, get that down, and then be like, oh, this is really good. Now let's go to like S tier.
Yeah, I suppose you're right.
Because then if it was shit, just say, which I don't think it will be. It smells real good out there. But if it was shit, you wouldn't know what caused it. You're like, is it the lard? Is it the smoker? Is it the way I seasoned it? Is it,
Yeah, I guess.
So it's better to have like a control group.
So maybe next time. Here's hoping. And I went to Home Depot. I forgot about that. I went to Home Depot. And there was nothing interesting going on in Home Depot. It was just Home Depot. There's some people my fucking way. That was about it.
That's a Home Depot moment.
I went to walk around them, and then they moved to be more in my way. So, I just eventually just tucked into a different aisle and then snaked around the other side of the aisle to get into the one that I needed. And there was like two employees of the Home Depot just playing with a label maker. There's a big label maker and they were just pushing buttons and it was spitting out labels and they were giggling. Like, what's wrong with these guys? I didn't even look at them. I was like, I just want to get what I need to get. And I ended up getting these wood chips because I was gonna get pellets initially, but the only ones they had. This is a stroke of luck moment because I was on YouTube and I was looking at videos about smoking ribs and stuff, and because of that I got a video I recommended that said what's the brand called? I think it's called Traeger. It said I got a video called "Are Traeger Pellets a Scam?" I'm like, those are the ones I was gonna buy. Those are the only ones they have at Home Depot in terms of pellets, and I look, and it turns out maybe. I can't claim anything for sure, but there seems to be that there's evidence that they don't use the wood that they're saying they use necessarily. They use a base wood. They grind up the pulp and they put it together, and it's not necessarily mixed in with the wood that you want. There's oils to make the flavor of the wood. So I just got wood chips, which I ended up needing a lot more wood chips than I bought. So I had my dad go get some, and he got wood chunks instead, in a much bigger bag.
Seemed to be working better.
Which seemed to be working a lot better.
Because it lasts, yeah.
Because the chips are exactly that. They're little like chips. They're, an inch, maybe 2 inches long, and they're very, very thin, so they burn really quick.
Right.
So what you can do as well is you can soak them in water, but don't let them soak. Just let them sit there, and then take them out and then leave them in the sun while your current batch of wood is burning. Leave them in the sun to dry out a bit, and then you put them in, and it's a bit moist, so they burn a little longer.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. That's what I've learned thus far, So it's a learning process.
So far, seems like he's doing a good job, though. It smells nice out there.
Yeah. I was pissed off because I couldn't find any corn. So my dad...
Couldn't find corn? Damn.
I couldn't find any corn. There was corn, but it was all the shitty stuff that people didn't buy. So it was sitting there, and, there was just husks and exposed ears of corn. Like, I'm not going to touch any of that. Yeah. So my dad, when he got the the extra wood, he went to the farmer's market and got farmer's market corn.
Ooh.
So, pretty good stuff.
Yeah. So that's pretty fucking mint. Yeah, we that should be fine. That should be fun. I mean, I'll probably pop in for a bit. I don't know. See how it goes. I have to go to a fucking Let's See Sisters after this. I'm like so tired right now still. I technically slept for longer than like is needed, but I woke up yesterday at 4 a.m.
Okay.
for the gym. I went, oh, that's cool. And then actually woke up.
That's crazy.
And then I actually got out of bed at 5:20. What's fucking hysterical is I fell asleep like this, like my dad does sometimes on the couch with my hands crossed. And I literally just like, I fell asleep. I knew I needed to be up. I'm like, I really don't want to like not show up. And all of a sudden I just went, oh, fuck, really loud. And then I quickly pull up my phone to see if our boss had texted me and all. And he had texted, I'm here, are you here? And then a sleeping emoji. So I replied. I thought he was leaving early, like genuinely. I thought he had told me he had to leave by 6, so I was like, okay, it's like 5:20. By the time I get there, it'll be like 5:30, 5:35, not even worth going. And then I was like, you have to leave at 6, right? He goes, oh no, baby. He goes, show up if you really wanna. And I literally like leaped out of bed, got dressed, fucking made a protein shake, and then flew there. And then yeah, we were hitting the gym. So I did that. Went to work, stayed at work late to cover for a colleague who's on vacation. Then went to my mom's house with Let's See to get cake pops for her sister's baby sprinkle or whatever that she's having today.
So it's not quite a baby shower.
No. And they're technically doing it wrong. People say like baby sprinkles for like, hey, it's your second kid, but it's technically, from what I've seen anyway, supposed to be for your second kid if they're a different gender to help you supplement what you would need, like the clothes and shit.
Yeah, that's fair.
So she's doing her baby sprinkle, so we grabbed that shit. I drove her home, went to D&D. D&D ran late because we didn't play the regular D&D. We played a version of it called Gloomhaven. It's like a more board game version of it. And I stayed there till like 1:30 in the morning. Fucking fell asleep. I said to myself, I was like, I'm probably going to sleep late. I was like, but I don't usually sleep past like 9, no matter what. So I was like, I won't even set an alarm. And then again, just like Friday morning, I was like, oh, it's 10:15. I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
I texted Chris. I was like, hey.
That's a rare Jordan moment that he's up later than I am.
Yeah.
I was in bed I think I went upstairs into my air conditioned room at like 11:45.
Yeah,
I didn't fall asleep until like 12:30,
but you were up there.
Yeah.
I was honestly surprised. I was like, damn, I almost stayed up for 24 hours when I thought about it. I was like, oh, shit. If I had just like suckered up for like another 2-3 hours, I would have been up for 24 fucking hours. I've been almost the latest I've ever stayed up. Latest I ever stayed up was 25 hours, so.
I mean, yeah. There have been times where I've stayed up for more than that, and it's like, those are not good times.
No, okay. It was absolutely horrendous.
So.
Like, I still slept from like 1:40 to about 10, so it's still like almost 9 hours of sleep.
Yeah, I woke up and I ate breakfast, and then I immediately started prep of my food. And I was like, in the middle of it, making food, and I was like, man, I haven't heard from Jordan at all. And then I was like, it'll be fine. And I was like, if this runs a bit, because my prep is taking longer than I thought, so I'm fine with this. But like, if he takes a bit long, if he takes much longer, I'm gonna ask him. And I was like, almost done. I was like, man, still haven't heard from Jordan. And he texts me, like right after that. And he's like, had a late night last night. Gonna be late. Like, yeah. All right, man. I'm in the middle of something anyway, so it's fine.
I literally we were supposed to do the podcast at 10, and I fucking at 10:03 is when I jumped out of bed, and I texted her, said, I'm gonna be a bit late. Very late night last night.
I was like,
10:03.
I said, I'm in the middle of food prep anyway, so it's fine. I wouldn't have been ready to record anyway.
I was like, fuck. Oh.
It's it can't be as bad as the one time when I was asleep, and it was a point where you texted me like, hey, when are we gonna do the podcast? And then like an hour and a half later, you went, hello, my friend, wake up, my friend. And then I woke up at like 1:00 in the afternoon. I went, oh fuck.
Oh my god, I do remember that. I literally, hello, my friend, wake up, my friend. And then, yeah, he just didn't fucking. I was just like, all right, I guess we're not doing it today. And then it was 1 o'clock. I think we did the podcast till 7 that night, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
That was an interesting day. That must have been such a bad day for you specifically, because once I realized you weren't awake, I was like, I'm just going to go about my day until you are. So for you, it was like you woke up, you're like, podcast, and then it was 7. And you're like,
I mean, that's kind of how these days go, but like, it's not like.
It's more controlled chaos, though.
Yeah, it's like I wake up, or I mean, this morning was a bit chaotic because I woke up and I'm like, oh shit, I gotta start cooking soon, but it's fine, whatever. And it was a lot of like between the hours of 8:30 and like, when Jordan showed up around like 10:30, there was just a lot of running around and back and forth from the kitchen to the grill to the kitchen to the kitchen to the smoker, or the kitchen and back, and then I filled a bucket with water, and I was cleaning stuff and figuring stuff out, and I gotta grab gloves so I can grab the tray so I can put more wood in.
And the gloves melted.
Well, see, I have my welding gloves, and I was using those, and then my dad said, why don't you use the oven mitts, stupid? I'm like, yeah, actually, that's an incredible idea. That's what they're designed to do. They're designed to take hot things and protect your hand from hot things.
So you can move those hot things.
So if I need to put, take this hot thing out of the smoker and put more wood to make more hot for the hot things, use the glove. Take it out. My dad used it before I did because I'm having him babysit it, essentially. He puts he used it once, and then I checked on it right between episodes, and he goes, yeah, those oven mitts didn't work. They immediately melted.
You flip it over, and there's a fucking hole.
There's a hole through it. Come on, man.
You have one job. That's like being like, yeah, that tire, I mean, I filled it with air, and it died. Like, it blew up. Like, I just put a little air in it. So you had one job. Hold the air, dude.
Yeah. It's like, I have one job here to show up, and sometimes I can't even manage to do that, so.
Yeah. Yeah, it do be like that. It do be fucking like that.
Man. I'm happy that we're actually having like some confirmed good weather, because the last few weeks have been, I'll look at the forecast, fuck, it's gonna rain on Saturday. It's gonna rain all day. And then like Friday, when it's way too late to like invite people to do anything, it's like, oh, it's actually gonna be very sunny. It's gonna be the sunniest day of the year.
Yeah, it's like Saturday is gonna be torrential rain with lightning and death. There's gonna be a cow flying by in the wind. And then Friday night at midnight, it's like fucking mint.
Saturday is going to be all 40 days and nights of the Great Flood immediately.
Yeah.
On your house, and you're like, man, I guess I can't do anything. And then you show up, and it's like
a cool 70 degrees.
Yeah, it's like a mid-spring day in California outside. It's like very nice.
Yeah.
And I took a gamble because it said it might rain, and then turns out it hasn't. So.
And the bigger part of the gamble too is sometimes when things like that would happen, we would come in here and just hang out for a bit. But there's a lot of people showing up this time. It's like 10 people. So yeah, it should be cool. Hopefully everything goes well. I'm gonna try to like pop in, especially because some of the people going I haven't seen in so long. Not in so long. It hasn't really been that long. It's been like probably 3 months. But so I want to like say hi at least. Like I even told Chris was like, I need to know if you're gonna be there for food. I was like, just don't even make food. I just want to go to be like, hey, what's up, everyone, and then stay as long as I can and cut out. But yeah, it should be a cool time though.
Yeah, I had to control the chaos a little bit just because, if I'm making food for people, I want to know how many people I'm making food for.
Oh, for
and
sure.
I don't want to have to make food for way too many people. So that's why
not enough, yeah.
If someone or some people were omitted, then I had to control the situation a little bit.
Right.
It's not something I did maliciously.
No, it makes perfect sense. Because it's like, especially with the price of meats nowadays too, if you're buying a bunch of meats to make and then fucking 3 people show up, or if you buy, I only need like 4 people's worth of meats, and then 10 people show up, and you're like, it's kind of awkward.
I had bought that pork shoulder because I was expecting to spend like $50 on it. Because I was gonna get 2 because I was under the impression they were like 4 pounds each. I ended up getting 1 because it was 10 pounds. So I was like, so I don't need 2 of these. And it was $20.
Oh, it's not
I was
too bad.
expecting to spend like $50 on the thing. Yeah, it was $2 a pound.
That's actually really good.
The ribs were actually, each rack of ribs costs about as much as that entire pork shoulder that I bought did.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, it's actually pretty good. $2 a pound.
You know, if you want to make a lot of meat very slowly for cheap, pork shoulder. There you go.
Yeah.
Or you just eat it raw like a dog.
There you go. Ravage it.
Just feed, you, your dog, your cat, your hamster, your guinea pig can all just all eat this raw pork.
Your herbivore guinea pigs, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It'll be good for them.
Yeah.
And it'll be good for you.
Yeah. Jerry gets wired. He's like,
how are the guinea pigs doing? I heard a bit about Jerry, but what about the other one, Noggin?
oh, Noggin, he's doing all right. He's still just a bitch, though.
Noggin blew up.
And he's still just like a little bitch. He just sits there, and like now he comes up to the cage a little bit, like, bro, feed me. But then you try to pick him up. Like they have each other's best and worst qualities. So, Jerry, super friendly. Let you pet his chin, pet his fucking eyes, let you rub his face. He's just like, yeah. But you got to pick him up, and he's like, I will end your life. He's like screaming for mercy. But Noggin is like, yeah, don't touch me, like don't pet me. But like if you just want to snatch me up and carry me around like in your purse, I'm cool with that. That's how it is. Like when we clean their cage, I literally just one hand Noggin and put him down. Jerry on the other hand is like doing laps. He's like, don't fucking touch me, don't fucking touch me.
You walk up and you just go. One shot, just eat them.
Lindsay walks in. She's like, hey, I haven't seen Noggin. I'm like,
I don't know what to tell you.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
You hear in my
crawls
stomach.
back out of your
I was
mouth.
gonna say, you hear in my stomach. I'm like,
Don't worry about that.
oops, don't worry about it. I ate this. I start punching myself in the stomach. I'm like, fucking stupid ass guinea pig. But no, Noggin's been okay. There's a video I'll show you after. I don't know if I showed you already of Jerry getting. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did show you that.
Oh,
Jerry getting
Oscar
the shit
smacks
smacked
the
out of him.
shit out of Jerry.
I love the video because Oscar's pretty much just chilling, and maybe I'll throw it on screen. But he's pretty much just like chilling, and he's just like rubbing his face in the cage, like yes, like how cats do. He's like spread my scent everywhere. Yeah. And then he just like looks back at the camera. And he's like,
oh, word.
Oh. Is that a yes? Okay. And he just like slowly turns back. In mid-turn, he just like winds up and fucking dets Jerry in the nose. And then Jerry jumps back. He's like, oh, what the fuck happened? And then he goes in for round 2. And it's just funny seeing Oscar's little paw go through the bar. And he's like,
yeah, if I had something like that, like some sort of rodent that was in a cage like that, I could not let Chunk near it.
Yeah.
Because he will at first be like kind of put off. He'll be a bit scared at first. And I'll be like, oh, this little guy.
Yeah.
I can smack it once and kill it if I wanted to.
Yeah.
And then he's gonna try that, and he's a dumb idiot. So.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't let them out together. They stay in the cage so they come back into the corner and you can't get to them. But we have put them in their like playpen area and he's gone in there. And it's just funny because one of the times he went in there, Oscar was just fucking sitting, just chilling. Noggin was hidden in the house, like, what the fuck's going on? And Jerry was biting Oscar's ass, biting the fur. He was just nipping at fur on his butt, pulling it out. And Oscar was just like... And I kept saying, I'm like, bro, one of two things going to happen if Jerry keeps biting his fur. He's going to hit skin, and Oscar's either going to jump and run away, or he's going to turn and beat the shit out of him.
He's going to just punch the shit out of this
Just hold him down and just start beating him. But yeah, they do pretty good.
Didn't Oscar, throw himself out a window recently? Did we talk about that on the podcast?
we brought it up when I was putting in the ACs, and he had his endeavor with God, where he just stuck his head out.
We did talk about that.
Stuck his head out from 5 stories up, and was just like, oh, "This is pretty nice out there. It's pretty good."
Yeah, that's great.
Just wanted to push him from behind. He's like, "Fuck!" Yeah. But no, Oscar's had his endeavors. He was fucking livid the other day.
What happened?
We left the window open where his hammock is, and it rained. And his hammock got soaked.
Wet.
And I just came out, and he has like a little tower that I have there that he jumps in to then walk into the hammock. He was just sitting in the tower staring at the window, and I was like, Oscar, what's going on? And he just like slowly turned, and I was like, what the hell's his problem? So I opened the blind for him.
He's like, are you fucking serious right
now? I opened the blind for him. I'm like, go in the hammock, and I'm like, he won't go. So I go to pick him up and put him, and he starts pulling away. What the fuck is his problem? So I grabbed the hammock, and I went, oh, it's like sopping wet. So he was pissed.
You're laughing. My hammock is all wet? And you're laughing?
he was fucking livid, dude. I was like, all right, man, sorry. So he threw that shit in the dryer, wiped it down, and then he was fine. But he was pissed, dude. He was like, I imagined it was like that old like meme, so to speak, of like the husband comes home late from work and flips on the light and the wife's sitting there tapping her foot, like,
Yes.
where have you been? He was just sitting there like,
Are you gonna address this situation or?
As I'm like, hey buddy, he's like, don't fucking hey buddy, me fix this. Yeah, he was pissed. He was
last weekend I was in my room and my cat, he sat outside my room, and then I was like, I had my headphones on, but I had like a half ear going, so I could hear a little bit of what was going on, and then I hear this like horrific noise. I'm like, oh boy, what's this? And I'm like, is this just a noise that I'm misinterpreting? So I take my headphones off, and I just hear him like gagging, like he's about to throw up, but it's like violent. He's like, and I was like, what the hell is going on? I walk out of my room, and he's just sitting there. He's like this, and he's like about to throw up, and I go, are you good? Are you gonna throw up? And then he like continues that for like another like couple of seconds, and then he just looks at me and walks away like nothing happened. I don't know why he does. This is like the second or third time that he's done this.
Yeah.
Where he'll just walk away like nothing happened.
Yeah. Yeah, cats are weird like that. I did have an actual incident though, where our kitchen sink, we have a double sink, and the right side started leaking. So I was like, let me try to fix this. This should be simple. So I take the fucking pipe off, and I look in the washer that's supposed to be, we'll just say like a 4-inch washer, or gasket, is like 7. It's like totally stretched out. I'm like, oh, there's the problem.
Yeah,
So I talked to my elderly coworker at work, and
this old man that we work with.
I need to buy him more plumber's putty because he gave me a plumber's putty. And this was before I had realized the gasket was fucked up. He was like, yeah, just roll it, lay it, smush it, cut out the excess, and you're good to go. I'm like, all right, cool.
Oh, you got the old Billy Mays Mighty Putty out?
Pretty much. I tried to do that, and it wouldn't work. So I wasted, like, his entire jar of fucking plumber's putty.
Damn, bro.
But then...
That's tough on an old man like him.
He said, my bottom dollar, you son of a bitch.
He's gonna whack you with his cane, bro.
Probably is, dude. Probably is. Yeah, he's gonna show up with his cane. He's gonna fucking put his glasses on him, like, get over here, boy.
You whippersnapper.
He's gonna try to chase me. Then he's gonna trip and shatter his hip, and I'm like, Grandpa, no.
Grandpa, no.
And then yeah.
I love.
Am I in your will?
One of my favorite things about the coworkers that I work with specifically on your team is making fun of how old they are because they aren't. They're not even that much older than I am. Like they're like 10 or 12 years older than I am. And I love calling them old, because if they were actually old, it'd just be sad.
Yeah, I know, it would just be sad, but it's also because the generational gap is so big. Like, we've talked about this before, but there's so much crossover between their generation and ours, but there's also stark differences. I made a SpongeBob reference in your department yesterday, and our boss was just like, I don't know.
Well, yeah, but someone like, Gen Z to millennial, that's not a huge leap, but like Gen Z to like Gen X or like Boomer, that's a leap.
Yeah.
So
exactly, yeah. We have a lot of crossover with them, but there's also just a lot of shit that either they say that we're like, what? Or that we know what it is, but like, yeah, I can't relate. Or it's the opposite, where it's like we say something and they're just like, what?
Yeah, I think the biggest difference is like meme culture, I think.
Yeah.
Because as much as millennials like, and I'm talking like older millennials, like just they did have memes, but I don't think a lot of them have kept up with it and are in the same meme spaces as like Gen Z people are, where I will see a meme that is like the most obscure or like, specifically like esoteric thing I've ever seen in my entire life. It would just be like a bunch of colors and then like D on it. I'm like, this is fucking funny. This is hilarious.
Yeah.
It's bad. Generation Z humor is, it's embarrassing to see the things that will make me laugh.
Yeah, it kind of is. Yeah, like that fucking Garfield video Alex played.
Oh my god, the low res Garfield video. I love that video so much.
That video always gets me a little bit.
Yeah, we did. In addition to that, we did a little scheming for some extra stuff we might do. So,
Yeah.
look out for that. I think it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I have a feeling like this is the problem. This is genuinely the problem. Is I think I don't know if I told Chris this, or if I thought to tell Chris this and never got to, but we were talking at one point about how like we have a lot of scrap projects, and that's part of, in all honesty, what we're going to talk about in the 100th episode is some of the scrap projects we had. And one of the things I said to Chris is I said, I'm all for like scrap projects that some of the videos we're going to tell you that we tried to make, you're going to be like, why the fuck would you try to make a video out of that? We were just stupid. But this camping travel thing will become something, because I'm not going to spend $1,000 for nothing.
Which is like, it's like it's different because we have a very dedicated and specific
Layout.
plan and a layout for things. And the only time we've really had that was with our shooting video.
Yeah.
Where we had a very specific plan and course of action that we wanted to take, and that video turned out pretty good.
Yeah. We have the camping trip we tried to do last year that we had a huge plan for that backfired. Then the shooting video, which was more so like, hey, this is a really simple video to make. There's not much cinematography or anything that goes into this, but like someone could die, so let's plan this like perfectly.
Yeah.
And it just so happens we put all that effort in, and that ended up being like probably our best planned and quality IRL video to date. Like,
so
it had the best.
That's our downfall. Is like, we're just like, let's just do this and put on the camera, and then we're just like, oh, we're just doing a project. This is not actually interesting at all.
Right. So that is where the cracks start to show. So this one is gonna be totally different. We got some stuff written up and planned.
Especially after we, Jordan and I worked on the short film. I feel like we have a good a good creative, like, what's the word I'm looking for?
Dynamic, you're thinking?
I guess, yeah.
Kind of like a dynamic.
We kind of have, or I'll have like a central idea, and then I'll say like, I have this idea, or we can do this or that, and then Jordan's like, no, that's interesting, but like, what if we did this way or that way? And we're like, that's a fucking awesome idea.
Yeah. There's something that happens. I talked about this at work with
we
him
get
and
into
Alex
this like
yesterday.
synergy where we just start bouncing off each other and become.
There are times where Chris and I are just like, man, we just can't think of this. We can't figure this out. We can't do this. But like, we went to a restaurant with Alex, and we planned out some of the stuff for this travel video. But yesterday at work, we talked for maybe 10, 12 minutes. And in the 10, 12 minutes we had, we just had such good synergy that we came up with a bunch of ideas for the video that were better than the original ideas we spent 2 hours making.
So it's
incredible.
We do enter this like weird point where we just start bouncing stuff off each other. We refine these ideas down. And
when Alex is there, it's pretty good too.
Our creative vision, I suppose, is very similar, I guess.
Yeah. And specifically to this like travel vlog too, the creative idea, it's funny how it kind of started here, and we've already started to devolve into like, what if we do this, what if we do that, what if we do this, what if we do that. So the video idea has already changed so much, but the core is still there. So it's pretty fucking awesome. I'm excited with like what we have planned. I'm very excited to like get on site, see what the area looks like, and be like, okay, what we wanted to do, let's do that in this area, let's do this, and then frame shit up and get angles, and like I'm fucking hype. I'm so excited.
And especially with how we, how we did that short film, and like the stuff, just the stuff that I had learned in that just basic intro to film class. Because it was all like the core techniques of like, this is why you would frame a shot this way. This is the rule of thirds. This is, graphic weight with specific objects. This is how you do foreshadowing with objects. I understood like the concept of like Chekhov's gun already, but like, this is how you would, or how you would associate a character or a person with an object or a score, a piece of music.
Right.
And it's all very, very interesting, and you get into this when you both kind of have this base knowledge set. You can make something fairly interesting.
Yeah. So I think it's gonna be super.
Get with your friends and make cool movies.
I think it's gonna be super exciting. I'm gonna feel bad for Alex. I feel like this is gonna turn into kind of like what the original camping trip. The idea was like, oh, Alex is there. He's a main like character in this video, but he's also going to be kind of the camera guy. And I have a feeling that this is going to turn into a lot of like, Alex, stand over there and do this.
There's going to be a lot of stand over there and do this from everyone.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Just because, you know, it's you know, like what we had with the film was like, if I had the camera in my hands or like I was setting up a shot, I would say, Jordan, do this. Yeah. And I'm going to do this. I want Jason to do that.
So, exactly, though. It was a lot of, like, when you're the camera person, you're making the creative decision because you can't see what I'm filming when you're standing there. So if I'm like, hey, I know your idea was to stand here, but, like, this light is obscuring or this. Yeah. So it's a lot of that. But, yeah, I think we're just going to have a lot of fun with it. I'm just hoping, like, again, like, our plan is there. The supplies will be good. I just hope everything goes well. The Hummer gets us there. No issues. Yeah. And we can...
There's some stuff being fixed on it soon, so...
Yeah, we should be good, though. I think it's going to be fun more than anything. That's what it's about. As much as I was saying, like, we need to make a video because I don't want to spend all this money and be like, fuck, we made a shitty video. I still want to have fun with it.
But then, you know, as much as we are there to do that as well, as like, at least, again, from the short film experience, we had a lot of fun doing that.
Exactly. Yeah, that was honestly, it was like one of the most fun projects we had done, and it wasn't related to the podcast.
Yeah, I think the creative like synergy that we ended up in was pretty good.
Yeah, for sure. Well, there was just like a lot of things that like you would catch or I would catch that the other person wasn't thinking of. Like Chris would say, "Let's do this," and I'd be like, "Well, remember the last shot ended like this, so maybe we should like do a different transition or a different movement." And you'd be like, "Oh yeah," and then I'd be like, "Oh, for my shot, let's do this," and you're like, "Well, no, the last one I was over here," and there was like perfect, just like. It was like one of us would say something, the other one would be like, okay, that's good, but do this. It was fucking great. I'm really excited to see how this goes. And we have the advantage of having Alex there, and he's pretty creative. Like a lot of the skits we came up with and things like he's helped with a lot of the basic ideas.
It was definitely the trifecta.
Yeah. Alex understands that he's not like, it's not his video, but he is more than happy to like give good ideas and like made suggestions, and I'm more than happy to take them, and I know Chris is because he came up with some good shit the other day. So.
Yeah, it's not like it's the
He's
way.
Not just our fucking pawn that we.
Yeah,
send
that's
off.
the thing. That's how you have to do it too. If this is like something that anyone else wants to do, this is like how you have to do it. Is like you have to get with people that you know you're gonna vibe with, and then you all have to come up with ideas.
Yeah,
and
be open to each other's
and
ideas
then
too.
work out like how and then work out how it's going to work in a way that makes the most sense.
Right.
Because if you just have one guy who's like, this is their project and this is their idea and this is how they're going to do it, it's not going to work.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So.
For sure. Especially when you're not working with like actors. Like none of us are actors. So if Chris did give lines or we gave, Alex lines and we're like, say these lines exactly to the script, he wouldn't get into it. He wouldn't be able to show like his character to it. He'd just be reading a script. That's what happened with the short film is Chris was like, here's the script, but you can veer off of it. And
I think I specifically told you guys to kind of riff on the script.
Because... And certain moments were greatly enhanced by that. The whole part with Jason was greatly enhanced by that. So I think this is going to be fucking epic. So look out for that. Look out for episode 100. Just know I'm going to blast this this video all over the place when it comes out because I really want people to see it, as long as it obviously turns out as we expect. So please don't fucking backfire on us. But that's all I got.
It might misfire on us.
Cylinder 4 misfire.
It might misfire.
On brand?
Like the name of the podcast. Like it might like, you know what I'm saying?
But the podcast isn't called Misfire. It's called Synapse Misfire.
There might be a Synapse Misfire in the production, and it would cause the whole thing to misfire.
Are you saying I'm going to have a stroke?
Maybe.
Camera just stiffens and I fall over.
You're filming something, and the camera just kind of does this as the side of your body goes limp.
Oh, fuck. All right. I'm good.
Remind everyone where to find us.
Firstly, come back next week for episode 100. It'll be worth it. But if you do want to find us, you can do so on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Breaker, Radio Public, Spotify, Pocket Cast, and of course the RSS feed. Put it into your favorite app. And as always, email us comments, questions, concerns, and death threats to synapsemisfire@pm.me. There's also the YouTube comment section, and there is the Instagram and TikTok. And I did this on one episode, and only, I think, our boss replied. Spotify has a Q&A section.
Do they?
Yeah, they've had it for a while, so sometimes I throw random questions in there. I haven't done it. Really, I did it once or twice. But I put a random question once on one of the episodes. I said, "Can you see me?" And then our boss replied, like, "I can see you," or whatever.
That's crazy.
So keep an eye out. Maybe I'll slip something in there.
Ooh.
A Synapse Slipfire.
A little, Jordan slipping it in you. All right, we're done.
All right, we're done. All right, cancel the show. It's over. You're not going to see 100.